Welcome to Tetiaroa, one of the 12 islands purchased by Marlon Brando in 1962. Voted top resort in the world by Condé Nast and Robb Report a few years ago, this private luxury resort is an exclusive getaway for movie stars and presidents. But what really makes this exotic place so fascinating is that it's one of the world's top eco-resorts, meaning it's totally self-sustainable. The buildings are made from local resources, they make their own electricity, deep ocean water is used for cold air conditioning, they grow their own food, recycle all their waste and sewage, make drinking water from ocean water, and even have an all-natural way to keep the entire island mosquito-free. Scientists come from all over the world to study this community because it's a fully functional example to the rest of the world of what is possible right now. And it's not a bare-bones hippie community. This is a fully air-conditioned 5-star luxury resort catering to people who want the best. Get ready to be inspired because I'm about to take you on an exclusive, private, behind-the-scenes tour of a place that may change the way we see the future. Meet your guide, Boris Kopek.
Alright, so being at the Brando, we'll be having a luxurious hotel experience while reducing his impact on the environment. And I will show you how we produce our own energy here, how we deal with our waste, how we produce water as well, and how we can reach self-sufficiency in scientific projects to help the world worldwide to get a better life. Behind we have one of our luxurious villa, which is optimizing the energy, also reducing the impact by the materials we use. Most of the materials are local, compostable and biodegradable materials, so this guest experience will not have an impact on the environment, and this is well integrated also into the environment. We've been LEED Platinum certified, which is leadership in energy and environmental design, and this villa is the perfect place to stay without impacting the Polynesian environment. Electricity will be produced by solar energy. We have the biggest BESS, battery energy saving system in French Polynesia, and on the airstrip we have about 3,500 solar panels producing most of the energy. Then every water will be recycled thanks to our sewage plant, and this water is at the end of the process getting a baseable quality, so we can reuse the grey water to irrigate the ornamental plants of the resort. The building behind us is producing the most ecological and economical air conditioning. This is the SWAC system, SWAC for seawater air conditioning. Polynesian islands are volcanic islands, so we have deep sea water available right after the reef. And we have a pipe going to 3,000 feet deep where the water will be 39 degrees in Fahrenheit. This cold water will help us to cool a system made of titanium plates. These titanium plates will be located in the heat exchangers, and then, thanks to the deep sea water, we will cool the entire resort. So we reduce a lot the amount of energy required for air conditioning, which is really polluting. This system is not. This system is from the vision of Marlon Brando, who had a friend from Hawaii, John Craven, who was working on this technology in the 90s, and then Tetiaroa is the second SWAC system in French Polynesia, the second hotel in the world to implement this system. Air conditioning is really polluting. For an hotel, it's about 60% of the energy bill at the end of the month. And a SWAC system reduced by 90% this energy. So for us, air conditioning would be almost free and with no impact on the environment. Deep sea water located at 3,000 feet deep will be coming to the surface naturally thanks to the pressure. And when the deep sea water arrives inside the building, it is about 41 degrees. This 41 degrees ocean water will cool the titanium plates, and these titanium plates will cool an antifreeze liquid, and this antifreeze liquid is then pumped to the entire resort. So what you get in your villa at the Brando Hotel will be a cold liquid circulating in your wall, and which is getting you air conditioning. It's a really comfortable air conditioning. First, no noise, no sounds inside your villa. Secondly, you can let it on all day long because it has no impact on the environment. Most of the energy used for the pump to work is from the sun. So then it's using two resources, natural resources that we have here, deep sea water, which is cold, and sun for the electricity. So first, we go underground because the building is underground to keep the coldness of the pipe circulating into the resort. And then you will see inside we have another part of the building built below the sea level, so where the seawater comes from to cool the system. Let's go. Located below the sea level, and we have the seawater entering pumped by the blue pump, which is coming to the 3 heat exchangers made of titanium. The seawater is cooling the titanium and then it is released back to the ocean. While here, this is the antifreeze liquid circulating, coming back from the resort, being cooled into the system, and then once it is cold, it is going back to the resort thanks to this red pump. This red pump is pumping the cold liquid to the entire resort to cool the resort. And so that will be written in French and in Celsius, but we can see here the seawater entrance temperature. So the seawater arrives at 5.5 in Celsius, which is 41 in Fahrenheit. And after the heat exchange, the water will be 6.3 in Celsius, which is 43 in Fahrenheit. So it means that the liquid starting the loop into the resort is at 43 degrees. The liquid that guests receive in their villa will be at 43 to cool the entire resort. So that would be the start of the antifreeze liquid. And here, if you could feel it, that's 43 degrees water circulating in this pipe going to the villas to cool the villas actually. And that will be the return. As it is a closed loop, that will be the start and that will be the return. And this liquid is about 55 degrees, is going back down and being cooled again by the seawater. Behind me we have the biggest field of solar panels in French Polynesia, so located on the airstrip of Tetiaroa, where our guests land, and here we will find 3,500 solar panels, and we have 1,000 more on the technical area behind that we will see later. All these solar panels produce our energy, which can be stored into batteries. We have a battery energy saving system. So during the day we are charging the batteries, and after the sun sets, batteries will be here to provide us energy. We have small buildings which are transformers. The solar energy that we overproduce go to these transformers and then we'll charge lithium batteries. These batteries will be here to providing us energy during the evening. We can always do better, you know, solar technology goes really fast, so we added new solar panels from the last generation, and we maybe think about increasing this solar field to always improve in self-sufficiency regarding energies. Sun energy is providing us electricity, but it's also providing us hot water. Behind me, this is the staff housing. Every staff member from the Brando Hotel will be living in this type of studios, and to get hot water for the tap and the showers, we provide it thanks to the water heaters. And these water heaters will be the same above our guest villas. So the guest will enjoy hot water also thanks to the sun energy, which is really common now in French Polynesia. It's a really common technology, actually. You have a tube made of glass, and inside the air is in vacuum. Once you get UV, the air gets really hot, really quick. And inside this tube you have another tube with water circulating. Hot water is naturally lighter than cold water. So once the water gets hot, it comes and fills the tank above. And then the tank provides hot water for the showers.
This is easy for even poor people, right?
Yes, actually this type of technology is really common now to produce hot water thanks to the natural resources, which is the sun energy. Alright, so welcome to our recycling center. Actually, waste for island territories would be the biggest issue, and we had to find a solution to reduce our impact regarding the waste. So first, more than educating the staff and more than changing our behavior, here we invite everyone to separate the waste in 15 different types, and then this is our responsibilities. So the second step after using the object, what will be the cycle of the waste. And for example, we collect every cooking oils in this hotel, and these cooking oils can be turned into biofuel. Then every kilos of aluminium are molted to be recycled. Ink cartridge now, they can be reconditioned. So we collect every ink cartridge from the offices, and then a company will fill with ink again. And this is happening for every type of waste. Even the coffee capsule are recycled in the result. You can remove the coffee and use it as a compost and mold the aluminium to do traditional cutlery in French Polynesia. So that's really about finding solution about this is a waste, what can I do with? And this is not only the things we do here in this recycling center. One third of our domestic waste will be food waste, and every food waste here will be collected, so in the restaurant or even for the staff restaurant, and every food waste will go into the machine called a food digester or eco digester. And this machine here will heat the food waste, and after a 24 hours process, every type of food, I mean rice, meat, vegetables, will be turned into compost. And this compost can be used directly in the vegetable garden that we have on site. When you want to do compost in your garden, it takes about 4 months. Here, thanks to this machine, this eco digester, we make compost within 24 hours. So it's about gaining time and of course reducing the amount of waste, as food waste represents 1/3 of the domestic waste. This compost is the food waste from yesterday. Daily we fill the machine, or this machine here, with the food waste, and after 24 hours, as this machine is heating, then it will remove the humidity of the waste, and then it's just accelerating the process of composting. But that's not the only waste we reduce and we change. We do the same with glass bottles. If we use glass bottle on site, we use this type of machine. And first one, we will make crushed glass with this machine. Crushed glass can be used in construction actually. If we want to reduce even more, like in powder, we can make sand made of glass. And this powder here, that will be glass bottle. That can be used also in construction. And you know, glass is made of silicium, so we are just making sand made of glass, so back. You have to know that the sand, after air and water, is the third resources we use the most on the planet. And we have to find solution about avoiding extracting sand from the ocean. Otherwise, we will have huge consequences, like our coast will be damaged by every storm, and our water tables will be affected by seawater if we remove all the sand. So by doing this solution, we do, like it may be a drop in the ocean, but at least we find solution about using the glass to create sand again, and instead of importing sand from the sea. So now let's speak about water. Behind me we have different tanks of water for different uses. Actually, the black tank on the background will be full of seawater, and this seawater will help us to provide potable water to our guests. So we do reverse osmosis. It's a technique of desalination of the water to produce potable water. So these two tanks will be our storage, our reserve of potable water that we can have in our tap and in our showers. Then on the other side, we have one tank full of rainwater. Rainwater is used in the resort when you flush the toilets. Then the guests having bath in their pool will be in rainwater, and the laundry will use rainwater as well. Do we really need to use potable water to wash linen? I'm not sure. And the second one will be groundwater. We have underground water tables where we can extract water from, and this one will be used to irrigate the vegetable garden. The last one will be recycled water. Every type of water we use in our daily consumption will be treated by our sewage plant, and after treatment, this water can be reused for irrigation of the plant of the resort. So how to produce fresh water from seawater? We need this machine, and inside this white tube we have this semi-permeable membrane. The idea of the reverse osmosis is about sending seawater at a really high pressure through this membrane here, which would be like a filter. Only the water molecule is able to go through all the steps here. So then what we get out of this machine would be water without any minerals, pure H2O. So that's the first step, because water without minerals cannot be drunk by us, because we need minerals. But we can put back minerals in the water, and that's happening right there. Because when we drink tap water, we drink mineral water. And what are the minerals we drink? It will be calcium and magnesium. And this tank here, it's full of crushed seashells, providing us the minerals we need. So these seashells are composed by 90% of calcium and 10% of magnesium. So after extracting the minerals from the seawater, we are just putting back minerals to this H2O. After all these steps, the water from the sea is drinkable, 100%. I switch on here, I can get water. But now the machine is not working because we refill the water tank. What we consumed the day before has been refilled this morning. And now that we are in the afternoon, the machine has stopped because our storage is full. We are on a piece of sand in the middle of the Pacific, surrounded by the hugest ocean in the world. So thanks to this technique, we can be self-sufficient in water production.
So for those who don't understand what desalination is, you're taking salt out of the seawater so it's drinkable.
That's right.
Yeah.
Few steps more to make it 100% drinkable, and then this water is tested every week in a laboratory in Tahiti, and we have technicians on site testing also the quality of the water every day here.
So one question that people might have, or men might have, is how much energy does it take to take the salt out of the water? Is it efficient or not efficient?
So this is a good question, because to push the seawater against the membrane, it requires a lot of energy, and that's why this machine is working only in the morning from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. when the sun energy is at its maximum. So then this machine will be only working on the sun energy.
So you're using sunlight to power?
To power the reverse osmosis technique, yeah.
Great, so it works.
It works very, very well, yeah. Another installation we have is the sewage plant here. So every black and gray water will be filtered, and first step it will be about separating liquid from solids. And then solids will be compacted and they fall in a bin. The liquids stay in a giant tank and we let it decant. And from this decant we collect only the gray water, which goes to the building where you see the plant on the top. And the roots of the plant will be here filtering the water. Actually, inside this building we have different type of substrate. Big gravel, smaller gravel, then sand. And each step the water gets cleaner and cleaner. At the end of the process, the gray water is 99% clean, so we can reuse it to irrigate the resort plant with. The aquatic plant we see on the top has two aims, two goals. First, it will be to eat bacteria. You know, gray water will be full of bacteria, so the roots will be eating it. And then the roots are here to make sure the different substrate filtering the water is not coagulating. So the roots will be here separating the gravel and the sand. And these plants are like really useful for this sewage plant system to work. So welcome to the vegetable garden of Tetiaroa. We have figs growing, we will have dragon fruit and vanilla produced directly on site, and the famous breadfruit from French Polynesia. So we have some breadfruit trees, even if the soil here is not really adapted because we are on an atoll. And an atoll means a poor soil mainly composed of sands and corals, so it's really alkaline. That's why we have to find solution to grow different things, and we've been using ancestral methods about digging the soil and feeding it with good soil that we can produce on site directly. So we can use green waste, we can use the compost from the machine from the recycling center, and also seaweeds from the lagoon. And by mixing these different components, we start to have a rich soil where we can grow exotic fruits or also more common fruits as zucchini, tomatoes or cucumbers. This is a really tiny one. But this fruit is the famous breadfruit in French Polynesia. You know the bounty boat? The bounty boat used to come to French Polynesia to get this food. This leaf shape is a symbol in French Polynesia because many Polynesian people used to base their alimentation, their food, on these fruits. So here, that's just a tiny one because not really adapted to the soil we have here. But if you go one day to Tahiti, you will see many of these trees along all the roads. Even people just let a basket of fruits in front of their house with written "help yourself" because it's like producing too much fruit. And yeah, famous breadfruit, uru, what we say in Tahitian. This plant here is the vanilla. Right now we do not have flowers. We will have to wait 2 months to get the white orchids. And when the white orchids appear in the morning, we have few hours to marry the flower. So with the tool, we will connect the male and the female organ inside the flower. Usually hummingbirds used to do that, but we do not have any hummingbirds here in French Polynesia. So it has to be handmade. And when you marry the flower, when the flower closes, you get the vanilla bean that you have to let dry for a month, and then you can use the vanilla.
So vanilla bean is a closed flower?
It's like from the flower, when it closes, it gets like it turns into a bean.
Wow.
But if you do not marry the flower, it will just be a beautiful orchid, but you will never get the bean after that. Sometimes you can spray seawater directly on the leaf, which might repel some insects. As you can use tobacco as well. You know the nicotine in the tobacco will be a natural insect repellent, so we use also this method about spraying tobacco directly on the leaves. A fruit which is daily used here in French Polynesia will be the noni fruit. This noni fruit here, it's a young one. So when it's young, it's super hard. It was used by kids here as a slingshot. And then when it grows, you collect the fruit and you let it in a jar at the sun couple of hours a day, and the fruit will sweat. Actually it will give you a juice, and every morning you take a spoon of this juice. But just mind the taste of this, because you know the noni fruit, we also call it the cheesy fruit. So it smells super strong and the taste is quite hard. It's like you want to be healthy, but just have to be brave enough to be. And I've been trying it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like taking a spoon every morning. Then I consider myself as healthy enough to stop because it was like super strong taste. But noni fruit is full of vitamins and antioxidants. And here in French Polynesia, most of the Polynesian mama drink it every morning to be healthy the most le plus longtemps possible. To keep it longer, how do you say when you le plus longtemps possible?
The last longer. Live longer, whatever.
So yeah, every Tahitian mama will drink noni fruit every morning to last longer actually. And they say that it prevents against many diseases. The fruit can be given to animals here, pigs or dogs, because it's anti-parasitic. And also I also have seen some strong Tahitian guy going to the fitness, practicing, working out, and after the gym session, just eating one of these fruit because it's like really healthy and keeping them in good condition.
Cici, would you like?
I feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
The chef will be using all these products directly from the garden to the kitchen and to the table to our guest. And another product quite famous here in Tetiaroa would be the famous honey from the bees, the happy bees of Tetiaroa. We have in total on the atoll 64 beehives, about 2.5 million bees producing a lot of honey. They produce a lot because no reason to be stressed in Tetiaroa. No pollution, more than chemical pollution, there is no noise pollution, no light pollution, then no predation. Here in South Pacific, bees will be free of every predators they can find on the planet. And finally, plenty of food everywhere. Coconut tree, miki miki, kahaya, which are all part of the local plant in French Polynesia. So then bees goes on flowers and they produce a really, how can I say, like a super good honey that our guests enjoy from breakfast to dinner, even in cocktails. That's why we're speaking about happy bees. Last year, to give you an idea, in 2018, bees has been produced 1.5 ton of honey directly here in Tetiaroa. You know, for the person who say that we are taking the honey of the bees, you see the beehives are separating in different drawers, and we always just take the honey from the top one. We always let a reserve for the bees. So the queen is living down there, producing new eggs and new bees, and they have all the honey they need. We will collect only the one on the top of the beehives. And did you know why we smoke the hives before getting the honey? It's about sending them a message. Because you know, long time ago, even before mankind was on the planet, natural fire happens in the woods. And when the smoke arrives in the beehives, bees were taking as much as honey to save it. And when they do it, they feel stressless. So then beekeepers do use smoke just to tell them, hey, take honey. So then the bees are like really peaceful, and then you can take the plates and collect the honey without being beaten by the bees. One day here, the beekeeper told me, pet the bees. I say, what? And then so I put my hands on the bees directly like this. My hand was shaking, but the bees were like stressless, so no reason to be beaten. That's like being in Tetiaroa, no reason to be stressed. The chef will be adapting his menu on what we can produce here. By offering to the guests a culinary experience, a local culinary experience, it's also part of the full experience they will have here in Tetiaroa. More than cultural and natural heritage of Polynesia shared with the guests, we can also share a bit of what we produce directly in the garden. This tree here is called Ironwood. In Tahitian we say Aito. Aito because it means also warrior. It's a super strong wood which will never be attacked by insects or get mold. So it makes this wood the ideal material for construction. And the Brando resort has been built mainly thanks to this wood, which is present in the territory. So we've been using natural material from the territory, and that's why also we are LEED Platinum certified. Alright, so here in Tetiaroa we do control of the mosquitoes population, and this is about using a male mosquitoes, which is sterile, and sterilizing the local female mosquitoes. So every week we receive in a cooler little boxes like this, where we will have mosquitoes larvae. And what you see here, there is about 500 mosquitoes larvae. And these mosquitoes will be exclusively male mosquitoes. Why? Because male mosquitoes don't bite. Only the female bites. The female mosquitoes need blood to lay eggs. So that's the female who bite humans, and that's the female who transmit disease, such as dengue or chikungunya or Zika. Male mosquitoes, they do the same as butterfly or bees. They go from flowers to get nectar. They just need sugar. So what you see here inside would be 90% of water and 10% of sugar, just to let the larvae grow. And within 2 days, these larvae will become real mosquitoes, and then we will release them. And these mosquitoes will mate with the local female, and they will make them sterile. Why? Every mosquitoes carry a bacteria, and this bacteria is named Wolbachia. The mosquito from French Polynesia carry the Wolbachia from French Polynesia, but they identified a mosquitoes in Japan, a tiger mosquitoes from Japan, carrying the Wolbachia from Japan. What they've done in a lab, it's removing the bacteria from the Polynesian mosquitoes and introducing the Japanese one. So in a laboratory in Tahiti, they have a Polynesian mosquitoes carrying the Japanese bacteria. They develop these mosquitoes. Then, when the eggs grow, male eggs grow faster than female eggs. So they have a way to keep only the male eggs. And that's the one we receive here. And by releasing Polynesian male mosquitoes carrying the Japanese bacteria, they will mate the local female carrying the local bacteria. So then, at the moment of the reproduction, there is incompatibility. And that's why this male will make the female sterile. And so, because the female cannot reproduce anymore, the population decrease. And we have traps, mosquito traps. Now we get like 0 mosquitoes per traps. So our guests in Tetiaroa will not be bothered, not be annoyed by mosquitoes.
Wow, that's amazing.
So the mosquitoes larvae are now real mosquitoes, ready to be released. So let's do this right now. Okay guys, go and do your job.
Whoa, they're flying all around me.
All right.
This is
so
bizarre.
Then we will not be affected by these male mosquitoes, and actually removing these species on the island will not affect the ecosystem because the mosquitoes has been introduced by the man. So we are just like removing an invasive species. We do it every week by releasing about 25,000 male mosquitoes, and that has proven its results because that's kind of real paradise being on a tropical island without any mosquitoes on it. In Tetiaroa, more than having an eco-resort, we have this eco-station. Eco-station from Tetiaroa Society, which is a non-profit organization, which was founded according to the wish of Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando wanted a University of the Seas, a place where we could run scientific projects, which might, more than helping Tetiaroa, helping the world. And here, for example, last week we had a team from Washington University, and they were studying the pH fluctuation on corals. We have deep sea water, as we saw from the SWAC system, and deep sea water is naturally more concentrated into CO2, carbon dioxide. They can extract this carbon dioxide from the deep sea water and test it on potatoes coral. And they want to estimate actually the year 2100 if acidification of the ocean increase or not. And so that's a way to estimate and to do prediction, like scientific hypothesis, or I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
Hypothesis. And so that's why here they will find labs, a wet lab, a dry lab for more precise work. And it's a unique chance to come here to be accommodated and to have these facilities in the middle of nowhere to do scientific improvement. For example, this one is called branching corals and this one is called massive corals. But massive corals, when you see it facing the villa, we can speak about massive potato corals because it's a huge part of corals. And this is the most resistant one. And that's why they want to know when the pH fluctuates from maybe 7.1 to 7.2, how it reacts. For us, it doesn't seem really important, but for corals, it is. And you know, when the corals are stressed, then the corals become white, what we call the bleaching phenomenon. And bleaching phenomenon is the first step before the coral's death. But we can go reverse and actually, by estimating, they can find which corals will be the most resistant if acidification of the ocean increase in the next decades. Where a man arrives, there is always an economic impact, there is always a social impact, and there is always an environmental impact. So making it sustainable will be to find an harmony with the 3 pillars of the sustainable development. By coming to Tetiaroa and spending nights at the Brando, it's a way to get inspiration and knowledge, because here our guests will understand what will be the new technology regarding sustainability. We've seen the air conditioning system, which is unique, how we can produce water, how sun energy is important, and more than that, we can see how we can also, regarding the ecosystem, we check the mosquitoes population control, how to avoid disease, because the mosquitoes is the most killer animal on the planet, and by testing natural products and by understanding everything, this tourism experience can be also like changing lifestyle and By bringing home knowledge after spending a stay here in Tetiaroa, the guests can have open eyes on the world and develop an environmental philosophy, and that's what we want to share with our guests here.
There are no cars on the island. The only way to get around is bicycles, so you have to move your body. And the utility vehicles and trucks are electric golf carts charged by sunlight. The backup generators run on coconut oil or biofuel made from used cooking oil or leftover food waste. All the lighting is LED, and even the super high-speed internet and all the computers are powered by sunlight. Even the drinking straws are made of, well, straw. It's amazing how simple things can be, even in one of the most luxurious resorts in the world. You may be thinking, this is only for the rich. Remember, when I first moved to Las Vegas and had very little money, I showed how I powered almost the entire property with a few solar panels. The secret isn't how much power you generate, but how efficient everything is. I insulated the place so well, I didn't need air conditioning until 2 in the afternoon, even when it was 120 degrees outside. I made a DVD about it called Solar Power for Me. No ocean nearby? No problem. You can still create natural air conditioning by digging a 2-foot wide pipe 6 to 8 feet underneath your entire property, which comes up inside your living room. All you need is a solar-powered fan to pull the underground cold air up into the house. There is always a way, always. Ride a bicycle more. You need to move your body more anyway. Grow your own food if you can. Eat more wild plants like I've been saying. Insulate your home more and switch to LED lighting. I hope this video opened your eyes to the possibilities. The world can heal if we just put our minds together and make it happen.